Everyone out of the meeting now. Ibrahim Traore's personal doctor Jean Ouedraogo burst frantically into the cabinet meeting. All the ministers stared in shock. The president is ill. He needs urgent treatment. The concern on the doctor's face showed the seriousness of the situation. 6 hours later, in a secret room in the palace, Traore lay in bed with a pale face. "No one should know," he whispered to his chief advisor. "This country cannot afford my weakness." Chief Advisor Marcel Cabore nodded with concern. "Understood, Mr. President. I'm preparing the official statement. President Traore will rest for a few days due to fatigue." "Good," said Traore in a weak voice. "Don't cancel my important meetings. Just postpone them. And Marcel?" "Yes, sir?" "The French must not learn about this. They still have eyes in our country." As Marcel left the room, Dr. Ouedraogo was measuring Traore's blood pressure again. 220/140, very high, Mr. President. You cannot continue like this. We need to run comprehensive tests. Traore opened his eyes. "How did this happen, doctor?" "I was fine just yesterday." "Stress, lack of sleep, irregular eating habits? Your body has raised the flag of rebellion, sir. I think you've been ignoring some symptoms for a while." Traore smiled bitterly. "When you're running a country, there's no time to listen to your own body, John." "Now you must make time," said the doctor in a stern tone. "Otherwise, you'll enter the next meeting in your coffin." The next morning, Burkina Faso state television announced that the president had postponed his programs for a short rest. However, Traore's health condition had already begun to leak outside the palace. The palace security officer, Captain Diallo, approached Marcel. "Rumors are circulating on social media. They're saying the president is in a coma." Marcel angrily hit the table. "Nonsense! Who's spreading these?" "Opposition groups and some foreign accounts. Also, the French embassy held an emergency meeting today." Marcel became lost in thought. Traore's concern was justified. A sign of weakness could be an opportunity for foreign powers. "I need to see the president," said Marcel. When he went to Traore's room, he saw that the situation had worsened. The president was lying in bed with a pale face, with 2 more doctors beside him. "What's happening?" asked Marcel anxiously. Dr. Ouedraogo pulled him aside. "The blood tests came back. There's serious kidney damage, and we've also detected a problem with his heart." "Life-threatening?" "Yes, if urgent intervention isn't made." "What kind of intervention?" The doctor took a deep breath. "We need a fully equipped hospital. With the facilities here..." Marcel sank into thought. He evaluated the options. "We can't take the president to a hospital. The news would spread and panic would begin." "But we have no other choice," said Dr. Ouedraogo. "We don't have the necessary equipment here." Marcel hesitated for a moment, then made his decision. "We'll bring the equipment here." 3 hours later, a secure wing of the palace was secretly being equipped with machines and devices. 3 specialists trusted by Dr. Ouedraogo had been brought to the palace in civilian clothes and secretly. When Marcel returned to Traore's side, the president opened his eyes. "What's happening, Marcel?" he said in an exhausted voice. "It's under control, sir. We're providing you with the best care, but here in the palace. The people, what do they know?" "Just that you're resting. There are some rumors on social media, but we're suppressing them." Traore swallowed. "Marcel, if I..." "Don't talk like that, Mr. President." "Listen to me," said Traore, holding Marcel's hand. "If something happens to me, call Lieutenant Colonel Konate. I trust him. He will keep the country stable." Marcel shook his head firmly. "Stop talking like this. You will recover." At that moment, Dr. Ouedraogo entered. "We're ready. We must start treatment immediately." As Marcel was leaving the room, Traore's voice came from behind. "Marcel, if things get worse, tell the people the truth. They deserve it." In the late hours of the night, Dr. Ouedraogo and his team were working intensively. Medical equipment, monitors, medications. A part of the palace had been transformed into a small hospital unit. "His blood pressure is dropping," said one of the specialists. "Heart rhythm irregular." Dr. Ouedraogo was giving instructions with concern. Increase the medication, monitor the ECG continuously. Marcel was waiting outside the room. Towards dawn, Dr. Ouedraogo came out with tired eyes. Status? Asked Marcel. Critical but stable. We've overcome the crisis, however. However? This is just a temporary solution. The president needs serious heart and kidney treatment, and the best place for such treatment. Where, doctor? Dr. Ouedraogo hesitated. Paris, Berlin, or London? Marcel's brows furrowed. Impossible. The president wouldn't trust a Western hospital, and rightfully so. I know, said Dr. Ouedraogo, but our alternatives are limited. At that moment, the palace's communications officer, Samuel, came running. Marcel, big problem. French TF1 television is reporting that President Traore is seriously ill and that the government is on the verge of collapse. Marcel's face darkened. Damn it! How did this information leak? We don't know, but the French Foreign Ministry also made a statement saying they are closely monitoring the situation. Of course they are, muttered Marcel angrily. As always, they're watching for moments of weakness. After thinking for a while, Marcel raised his head with a definite decision. Samuel, arrange a press conference immediately. We will announce that the president has had a slight illness, but his condition is good and he continues to work. But Marcel, that's not true. For now, we need to stretch the truth a bit. It will buy us time. The press conference had been arranged, the official announcement made. While Marcel thought he had relieved the tension somewhat, Dr. Ouedraogo hurriedly came to him. Bad news, Marcel. The president is experiencing loss of consciousness. We need more advanced medical intervention. What do you suggest? There's a good cardiac center in Morocco, a politically less problematic option. Marcel sank into thought. This was a very risky move. Secretly taking the president out of the country carried security problems and risks of information leakage. But what other option was there? Start the arrangements, Marcel finally said, but this operation must remain completely secret. At midnight, a special ambulance plane was quietly taking off from the military air base. Inside were Traore and a small medical team. The official announcement stated that the president was visiting a military base. When they arrived in Morocco, Traore was still unconscious. The private clinic in Rabat was surrounded by top-level security measures. Marcel was trying to keep the situation under control in Burkina Faso. However, as the hours passed, rumors increased and social media was filled with speculative news. We don't know where the president is. Coup rumors are circulating. French troops are mobilizing at the border. This last news particularly worried Marcel. He immediately contacted the military command. General Sacco, is there movement at the border? Small-scale movement, Marcel, but the real danger could be inside. There's unrest in some garrisons. Marcel took a deep breath. Talk to the commanders who have earned the president's trust. We need to stabilize the situation. General Sacco hesitated. Marcel, is the president really well? Marcel paused for a moment. To be honest, General, the president is experiencing a serious health problem, but he will recover, and he needs you to defend the country. When the phone hung up, Marcel noticed his hands were trembling. The president was right. Weakness could be fatal in this region. When the first report came from the clinic in Morocco, Marcel's hopes were somewhat revived. Traore had come out of surgery and the situation was stable. However, doctors said full recovery could take weeks. Weeks? Thought Marcel. We can't hide the truth for that long. Just then, the palace security chief requested an urgent meeting. Marcel, there's a big problem. Information came from the unit that monitors phone calls. Colonel Zongo had a secret meeting with the French ambassador to Burkina Faso. Marcel's heart tightened. Colonel Zongo was a rising name in the army, but he was always known for supporting pro-French policies. What did they discuss? Not fully detailed, but phrases like leadership vacuum and ensuring the country's stability were mentioned. Marcel thought for a moment. So there's a coup plan. He hit the table with his fist. We can't allow this. He needed to act quickly. He arranged a secret meeting with the military leaders most trusted by Traore. He explained the situation clearly. The president is ill, recovering, but currently receiving treatment abroad. Our esteemed president trusts us, said Marcel. In his absence, it is our duty to protect the country's stability and prevent a possible coup. The loyal commanders expressed their support. However, they all agreed that the truth needed to be revealed to the public. The people are wondering about their leader, said General Sacco, and uncertainty will benefit opportunists like Zongo. Marcel nodded. You're right, I'll make a press statement tomorrow, but first, I need to talk to the president. When he secretly flew to Morocco, Marcel was relieved to see Traore in the clinic room. The president, although looking weak, was awake and conscious. Marcel, said Traore in a weak but determined voice, what's the situation? Marcel explained the developments in the country. Rumors, French intervention, Colonel Zongo's suspicious activities. And the people are worried in your absence, Mr. President. I think it's time we revealed the truth. Traore remained silent for a long time. He looked out the window at the horizon of a foreign city. You know, Marcel, I always thought I had to appear strong. A leader in Africa should never show weakness. I learned this from my father. But I was wrong. True strength lies in admitting your weakness. I am human too, Marcel, and my people should know this. Marcel squeezed the president's hand. What would you like me to do? Tell the truth, that I am ill but recovering and will return soon. And Marcel. Yes, Mr. President. Watch Colonel Zongo closely, but don't rush. Don't act without evidence. Marcel nodded and left. He knew this critical moment would determine the future of their country. When Marcel returned to Burkina Faso, he arranged a national television broadcast. He stood in front of the cameras and began to speak in a calm voice. Dear citizens, today I want to make an important announcement regarding our esteemed President Ibrahim Traore. Millions of people watching their screens were holding their breath. Our president has been fighting a serious health problem for some time. He is currently receiving treatment at a special clinic and his condition is improving. Marcel showed a photograph of Traore taken in his hospital bed and authorized by him. In the photo, the president looked weak but determined. Our president tried to keep his illness secret because he thought of our country's stability. But now he wanted me to share this truth with you because he is not just a leader, but also a human being. Marcel read Traore's message. My dear people, my illness has taught me an important lesson. None of us are invincible, but when we are together, we can overcome any difficulty. With your support, I will return to my duty very soon. When the speech ended, something unexpected happened. Hundreds of people began to gather in front of the palace, but these were not protesters. They had candles and prayers. They had gathered for Traore's recovery. This spontaneous show of support quickly spread throughout the country. People were taking to the streets carrying banners that read, "We're waiting for Traore." Colonel Zongo had to reconsider his plans in the face of this unexpected public support. He sent a message to French officials. We cannot act at the moment. The people are behind Traore. 3 days after the president's illness was announced, good news came to Marcel. Traore's condition had improved significantly, and doctors said he could return to his country within a week. When Marcel shared this news with the people, celebrations began. People dancing and singing in the streets. Burkina Faso was waiting for the return of its leader. 2 weeks later, Traore finally returned to his country. The crowd waiting for him at the airport had formed a human corridor extending from the airport to his palace. As he greeted him, Marcel noticed that Traore had come back much thinner but with a different light in his eyes. Welcome back, Mr. President. Your people are waiting for you. Traore leaned slightly on Marcel as he got out of the car. Thank you, Marcel, not just professionally, but as a friend for helping me. When he turned to the crowd, Traore's eyes watered. These people, despite his weakness, or perhaps because of it, supported him. When they arrived at the palace, the first order of business was to discuss the Colonel Zongo matter. What are we going to do, Mr. President? We have enough evidence. Traore thought. The old Traore would have immediately ordered his arrest, but now he was thinking differently. "Call him, Marcel. I want to talk to him." When Colonel Zongo nervously came to Traore's office, he didn't know what to expect. Maybe prison, maybe worse. "Colonel Zongo," said Traore in a calm voice, "you know, facing death teaches one a lot. For example, the worthlessness of revenge." Zongo listened in astonishment. "I know what you planned during my illness, your meetings with the French, your coup preparations." Zongo was about to deny it when Traore raised his hand. "Don't deny it. We know everything." "Mr. President, I was just thinking of the country's stable—" "No, Colonel, you were thinking of your own interests, but I won't have you arrested." Zongo's eyes opened in surprise. "I'm appointing you as commander to the military unit at the northern border. There you can learn what true patriotism means. And Colonel ... "Yes, Mr. President. There's a second chance for everyone, but there is no third." A month later, Traore had fully recovered and returned to his duties. However, this experience had deeply changed him. He was now a more humane, more understanding leader. When he participated in a special program on national television, the host asked him how the illness process had affected him. "My illness gave me the most valuable lesson," said Traore. "Power lies not just in appearing strong, but sometimes in admitting your weakness. I may be the leader of this country, but I am also a son of this land, and like all of us, I am human too." These words echoed throughout the country. People appreciated their leader's honesty and humility. Traore began organizing hospital visits. He especially visited the heart and kidney disease wards, talking to patients, giving them morale. "If even a leader like me can get sick, no one should take their health for granted," he told the people. "Regular health checkups can save lives." This campaign led to an increase in health awareness across the country. Hospital application rates rose. Early diagnosis cases increased. One day, Marcel approached Traore. "Mr. President, I thought we might lose you because of your illness, but now I see that this experience has made you an even stronger leader." Traore looked out the window at the vibrant streets of Ouagadougou. "You know, Marcel, I used to think I knew what power was. Now I understand that true power is knowing yourself and serving the people." From that day on, Traore's leadership style had changed significantly. He listened more, showed more empathy, and perhaps most importantly, he had understood and accepted his own limitations. A year after his illness, Traore, dressed in traditional African attire, attended the opening of a primary school in one of the country's poorest regions. In his speech, as always, he talked about the lessons he had learned from life. "Each of us is shaped by the difficulties we experience. My greatest teacher was my illness. It taught me how precious life is." Children and families listened to him with admiration. Now he was not just a leader, but also a source of inspiration. As Marcel watched this scene from the back rows, he thought about how lucky Burkina Faso was. Traore's illness, which could have almost turned into a disaster, now seemed like a blessing. "Perhaps," thought Marcel, "true leadership is measured by how you gain strength from difficulties." And Ibrahim Traore, by passing this difficult test, had not only survived but emerged as a better person and a better leader.